Can this happen at a national level? Is there any evidence of God at work in a modern state, a sovereign nation? The East African nation of Uganda seems an unlikely place to look for answers. Racked with demonic fevers, this one-time pearl of Africa has spent decades in a deep spiritual coma. Its very name has become synonymous with death. As the nursery of AIDS, and as Idi Amin's personal house of horrors. For Uganda, the consequence of this idolatry has been a long season of fear and pain. Prayer meetings went underground. Pastors circulated between as many as 10 groups a day, always at great peril, and often arriving home in the wee hours.
The soldiers had power to do whatever they want. There would be road checks. And by 1984, they began killing churchmen. They began killing pastors. There were no investigations. Things would happen and that would be the end of it.
It seemed the entire world had turned its back on the horrors in Uganda.
Men have deserted us. It was being predicted that by 1997, AIDS would be so bad in Uganda that 1/3 of the population will have died. And they began praying day and night, day and night, day and night.
It came through a lot of crying, a lot of waiting.
There were times they had to go into the swamps and stay in the water, hidden in the papyrus reeds. So they would spend the whole day there, and in the night they would come out. And they would then get together and pray as the people cried out to God. And it would be manifest to the physical eye like a cloud, a heavy cloud of mist hanging over the people. When you walk into the meeting, you are immediately swallowed in. You know you're entering something that is tangible. Uganda, which had been written off by many, many countries, whose economy had totally collapsed, which had no voice at all, and whose people were ashamed of being called Ugandans, began making a turnaround. And the healing process began.
Not surprisingly, it is a change fueled by prayer.
So churches began to pray in zones. It's like bees. You can hear bees through the night. Every community praying, every zone praying. And I felt like, you know what? The enemy must find another city, but not Kampala.
The work that God has been doing in this land cannot be claimed by any individual or any church or any ministry.
Citywide pastors' gatherings are common. Even the dire World Health Organization report on AIDS did not shake the believers' confidence in God.
We have seen the AIDS virus healed, and the doctors go, wow, I can't explain this, but there must be a God up there somewhere.
That very night, the power of God came down, and I felt it. My doctor looked at me. He was amazed. He said, hey, are you still living?
I was checked. There's no AIDS.
They read my name, Ruth Birabwa, HIV negative.
And they told me you are HIV negative, non-reactive. There's no virus in your body.
Then the rest of the symptoms start to disappear one by one.
God had healed me totally.
It was a refrain heard thousands of times across Uganda.
Uganda has been recorded as one of the first countries to see a decline in HIV.
We believe it's because of our prayer, and we believe it's because of the love and the grace of God.
It is also because Uganda has promoted abstinence and faithfulness as their primary weapons against AIDS.
I vowed before you that if you heal me, I'll tell all the people.
I will not die, but live, and will proclaim what the Lord has done.
The power of God has also been manifested in the political arena.
I believe Uganda is in a new beginning politically.
In divine timing, God brought leadership. God began to put people in place. As we saw the government changing and the spiritual realm being changed, we felt, you know what? The God of Uganda has not gone to sleep yet. The gospel has introduced new changes, even in the structure of the government.
Today there's a lot of corruption in Uganda. But if we look back to how it was 15 years ago, it's just incomparable.
Not surprisingly, this new attitude is impacting the national economy. While things are still tough, positive signs are everywhere.
The economy, which was predicted to collapse, has not collapsed as such, but it has been among the 3 fastest growing economies in Africa.
And Uganda's churches are growing even faster than her economy.
And we went from 7 people to 2,000 people in 2 weeks.
So in the presence of the President and First Lady, we covenanted the nation to God for the next 1,000 years.
The covenant, which included the signatures of the President and First Lady, was remarkably explicit.
We are conscious that we have put other gods before you and worshipped them.
It read like a passage out of the Old Testament.
Covenanting our nation Uganda to the purposes of God and to the Lordship of Jesus Christ.